Okay, he mentioned the recruitment process into the judiciary. Now, that brings me to ask this question. The members of the judiciary are lawyers, right? So, the NBA, the bench, and the NJC, these three bodies, in a way, contribute towards what happens in the judiciary. Okay. So, what's wrong with the recruitment process? Who is monitoring the lawyers? Who's checking their operations, how they operate? Who's disciplining who? Who is suspending or disbarring those that need to be disbarred, to be punished or rewarded, as the case may be? So NBA, bench, NJC.
Well, we have what we call the National Judicial Service Commission. Each state also has their own state judicial service commission. Recruitments are handled by those commissions.
But they are pulled from these three bodies.
Yeah, from the judiciary. Let's say those who are magistrates are going to hire, or those who are officers in the Ministry of Justice. They can also be pulled into that. They are lawyers. Only lawyers can become judges or magistrates, of course. So I would say that
maybe I should ask: is every lawyer a member of NBA?
Every lawyer ought to be a member of NBA, but it is not mandatory, because some may have personal reasons why they don't want to do. But there is law that says you must pay some money, and when you pay that money annually, they will deduct and give some part of your money to the NBA. But they won't ask whether you want your money to go to NBA or not. That's another issue for another day. So, but on this recruitment, I think there is serious problem about recruitment. There is need to look into, like I said. We have discovered that there's so much patronage going on into recruitment of judges. It's a case of who you know and where are you coming from and who is sponsoring you, not a question of merit. We have found people gotten into the bench who has never practiced law since they left the law school. Some were into fashion, some were into something. Somebody, one uncle from somewhere, just said, why don't you recommend you? Then you get there. He will get to Judicial Institute and come back. And then you say you have emotional expert. You say, have you put the other party on notice? You know, we encounter such in court, and then we know the judges who are good. And we know the judges who ought not to be judges. But the system that produces them, the same system that produces presidents in this country, who know nothing, who are not knowledgeable enough to govern a country. The same system also throws up persons who ought not to be judges, who ought not to be magistrates. So it is systemic, and it is the institution that we have to look into. Why is it that governors have candidates when it comes to appointment of judges?
Even Obas.
Obas also have. Why is it that president also has candidates?
Okay, so one of the things...
And it is the executive who will approve.
Yeah. What should we say?
One of the things you want to see in 2017 is for the judiciary to look into the recruitment
process.
Yeah.
They
started
now, because even the current one that is on that, a lot of them is purely on merit. It was advertised and all that. They are trying to actually fine-tune the process.
Okay, so what more would you want to see moving the judiciary forward in 2017 in closing?
I want to see quicker dispensation of justice. I made a suggestion recently. That the issue of infrastructure in our courts is very important. If you go to Federal High Court, Lagos, there are no seats for lawyers, let alone litigants.
Yes.
So we need to improve. Then issue of personnel. But the CJ say something, and acting CJN, which I agree. We must limit our jurisdiction. Not every matter should go to Supreme Court. Not every matter should end at Court of Appeal. We can limit them at the High Court or Court of Appeal. Not every matter must go to Supreme Court. Issue of jurisdiction is very key, so that we can begin to have quicker dispensation of justice. Nigeria is not working, judicially in terms of quicker dispensation of justice. Issue of having every matter, when you quarrel with your wife, start with the customary court, and the matter must end up at the Supreme Court. We should stop all that. You can create divisions where some matters can end. Then some important matters that have already not been settled by the Supreme Court, can go to Supreme Court. Matters that have been settled already, why go to Supreme Court over the same matter? They are the same facts, and we know what the Supreme Court has actually ruled on them. So why do we waste time going to Supreme Court? And I know that most of these things are being done because lawyers also want to be a son. If you want to be a senior advocate of Nigeria, you must show how many appearances you have made at Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. That's why it is even some frivolous matters that should have ended at lower court going to Supreme Court. So we should discourage all that. Make law that will limit this. And I hope members of the House of Assembly, they are listening. We should limit our jurisdiction. Not every matter must go to Supreme Court, and it's not helping us as a nation. So people should think, people in government should think, how do we solve this problem? If I have a matter, within a short time, it should end, and let me know whether I have gotten justice or not. But why will every time a matter has to, wait up to 6-7 years before the finality of that matter, comes to me? If it does continue this way, people will lose confidence in the judicial system. People will begin to take laws into their hand. You begin to have jungle justice. Because why will I waste all that time, waiting for justice when it doesn't come on time? So I think that we must think outside the box.
Okay. Now, this issue of corruption in the judiciary this year with all of the arrests, do you think is going to have a positive effect, moving forward in the new year?
I can't see it. I can't see the positive effect. In fact, a lot of negative effect has been occasioned because of the approach to it by the executive arm. You don't just wake up one day and bring a sledgehammer and say you want to.
So you don't think it's
I think they are not. I think they are not serious.
People who may have that tendency to want to be corrupt.
Yes, there is no deterrence. There is nothing to deter them. I can't see it. The authority that approved before President will approve somebody to go and invade the judges' quarters, and then you go the houses where they are living built with public fund. They begin to break it to go in. It's unreasonable. It's failure of intelligence. That organization that led that invasion has all it takes to investigate for 3 months.
Is it not also the failure of the...
No. It is failure of intelligence first. You see, later they came out with excuses that the National Judicial Council, they were not forthcoming. Yeah, those were excuses. Are you saying that you have no means of dealing with those issues unless you go carry arms and invade? What
would be the recipe?
The recipe is to look at that institution itself. Where are those opportunities? There will be no corruption if there is no opportunity. Yeah. There must be opportunity. You block those right now. The opportunities are even widening more. You understand? So you need to first block those opportunities. Then what are the things that is at times a social problem? You look at the judges are also members of the same society. You think they are from mass? What are the things? What I think that influences judges negatively? What is the role of politics? Look at politicians. They are the ones who destroyed the judiciary. They are the ones who corrupt it.
That's right.
And when we say politician, who are they? The president is a politician, is he not? Some judges who are taking the mention names of certain politicians, you won't hear anything about them. Why? Because they have decided that they have to destroy judiciary and they are using state instruments to do it. So what I'm saying is that there is no, they have not even started. If they want the judiciary to be cleansed of corruption, the thing has to be systematic. You have to institutionalize those measures so that the judiciary can be self-cleansing from within. Not that somebody will come and order somebody to invade somewhere. Who is that person?
Mr. Joe, we have 2 minutes
they are even more corrupt
to answer this question. They say a society is a product of the family. So if the family is bad,
so the judiciary is also a product of society.
If the family is bad, if the child is not properly brought up, then he will go into the society and mess up.
Yes.
The judges, the lawyers, most of them are part of the NBA.
Yes.
So what is going on in the NBA in terms of regulating or monitoring the activities of its children?
Yes.
You had an election for the first time, a body using electronic voting for an election that is being
litigation.
There's a case concerning that election. Yes. There's different figures, and someone that contested against another person, your current president, is in court, so to speak, about that election. So what's going on in the NBA?
I think the NBA is also a product of the same society. Yes, because at times the public morality, to a large extent, is influenced by lawyers. The way they talk, the way they use the law, they are very influential. Lawyers are very influential. I can assure you of that. So when there is so much corruption in society, look at the lawyer, look at the accountants. You understand? They know. Lawyers know judges who are corrupt. And we have been saying so. So the NBA as a body has also failed in the performance of his own roles, societal roles. and even rose to his own members.
Okay.
It has also failed. I think they need to wake up. I'm happy somebody like Ubani is the second national vice president, and I hope they will allow him as a vice president, because he is a load of ideas. I know what's happening to the national vice president in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They won't allow him, but I hope the president of NBA, but the NBA itself presently is skilled in such a way that there will be no room for a vice president to play, because everything is centralized.
So there's need
on the president
for internal
of the
cleansing.
NBA. Is he God?
There's need for internal cleansing.
Internal cleansing within the NBA.
The country
In fact,
as a whole.
excuse me,
Yes.
the NBA is just like Nigeria. It's too big a bureaucracy. How can you have just one association in the whole of Nigeria?
We are winding
they are not really they are no longer capable.
I don't agree with him in breaking.
Yes, you may not agree. You may not agree.
But we need to think outside the box and do things that are extraordinary if we want to get this country working. There are a lot of things we need to do. Yes. You know, part of which is restructuring.
Yes,
this country is restructuring. Well, he is.
The NBA also must be restructured. Nigeria will be restructured. The NBA should start.
You have said that. Let me say my own.
We have to go.
I want the president in the fight against corruption to apply some level of scientific application. And ensure that a structure is put in place. That even when he goes, the system is self-cleansing. Because the moment you do it as a leader, and everyone is afraid of you as an individual, no individual can ever fight corruption successfully. So you need a structure, and that's the only way. So judicial invasion of homes, and invading homes and all that is sporadic. Corruption may continue if we don't apply scientific method in monitoring our judges. Also making sure that the politicians do not use public money in pursuing litigation. It doesn't happen anywhere except in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on this morning and sharing your thoughts with us on the review of the judiciary in 2016. We have two lawyers in the House, and Mr. Olashupo Ojo is also the president for the Center for the Rule of Law, and Mr. Onyekachi Ubani is the second vice president, NBA. Thank you both for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.